into the top 5, top 4 for those placement points at all. So that said, as we're shaking things up to Erangel, and take a look at this flight path and see if it's doing him any favors. And this is this is the opposite you want to see
Of
if
a
you're shoot to
favor?
kill.
Yeah, this is um yeah, it's not the best plane. Obviously, looting north, this doesn't help them at all, but this also doesn't help quite a few teams. So if anything, this should be an interesting game. This is kind of one of those plane paths that we sadistically like to see, kind of where these teams end up, or if there's any early fights, because we do love those. But I don't suspect anything out of the ordinary will happen necessarily. There isn't any glaring teams that are contesting for some of these spots. So even still, I think all these guys will be able to get where they want to go.
And now we have 3 teams that are opting for military, one of which is their primary looting positions. Not really much of a change there, but One Eye Open taking Nova and Virtue taking the western coast for the main island. I think banking that this could, in fact, be a military circle. As we're going to see where it pops, it is nowhere on the islands. In fact, quite a bit central. Elusive actually looked to be going for apartments and school, could be in a really nice position for this. Now we'll take a look, though, at the eastern side. We've got so many teams bunched out. Additionally, as well, I think ATC, Zenith, Oath, Gravity, all there along the edge between Lepavka, Milta Power. So for right now, though, everybody should have enough time and comfort to loot without really being on top of each other.
Yeah, no. As I said, I don't think anyone's really going to contest it. The big thing here is how long are they actually going to have to loot before they want to rotate into the circle. And with this one specifically, I mean, it looks very straightforward and centralized, which it is. The issue is that Rozhok River. Oftentimes, we'll see some of these circles kind of sit in between that river, and that makes it very difficult to decide which side to play on, because once it shifts to a side that you're not on, getting over can be a big task, a big ask. And so we'll watch to see if that's what happens. This also could just shift to the southeast, and we don't even have to deal with the Roz River. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Additionally as well, we do still have 3 teams on the military island. They're going to have to think about their rotation coming off. Obviously, boats and the ferry are available, but you've got Comets around the western bridge and the ferry area. Gravity holding that Milta position, and so for teams that could be choosing the bridge, or even if they want to kind of send it through the center, you've got Dodge in that same farm position. So it's going to be interesting for some of those teams to try to come off the island, because when you just look at how stacked not only the East Coast is, but the South, there's going to be somebody waiting for them at just about every entry point.
Yep. And elusive looting school. This reminds me of a different split. Actually, this reminds me of the old I think like Team Gates split, where they had this app school, which was like Smithy. I think Yaxley was on that team. Actually, who else was on that team? Pock would know. Pock's memory is impeccable when it comes to events, teams, players, who was on those teams. Yeah, this is actually a really wide split with them, because I think they also even have J Compound over there where Fizzle is.
Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, additionally, this is a good position to try to maybe catch some teams off on transition. There's currently nobody in Rozhok, and like you said, the play with the river. The river is going to be such a big factor here. I would anticipate that we'll probably see some teams try to get as close to that as possible. Cube is currently open as well. As Shoot to Kill just outside of Georgopol might be in a good position to take that, though. Typically, I think we see Shoot to Kill push into Everest to try to get a little bit of information before rotating forward. So as we go, though, everybody is, like we said, just going to have plenty of time to loot up and get themselves situated while we wait for that next circle shift.
Yeah, I don't really imagine we're going to see too many crazy fights. I mean, the North is eerily open again, as it was in the last game. I think this time around, at least, was because of the fact that the plane was not that good for anyone to go north. So we'll see.
And now I think the biggest potential that we have for any type of conflict right now, One Eye Open and the Guadalajara gas cans are both creeping up along the eastern bridge. Manhardy is going to go ahead and send it ahead, scouting for One Eye Open, but Pankill is waiting for him on the other side. The rest of Gravity out still in Milta, so Guadalajara gas cans are coming in back behind this. Honey Badger sitting it ahead of the crowd, trying to trap One Eye Open here on the bridge. Manhardy, though, is going to avoid conflict from Pankill. Honey Badger now trying to take shots in from the south. The SLR at hand, but a little bit of Serpentine coming out from Patron is going to try to keep him alive.
Bob and weave. The amount of times
I've heard somebody say, "Don't go full on Rick on Stark. Don't run in the straight line."
You know, that's a rough reference because that show really tanked in the end. Oh, but speaking of tanking in the end, look at this
Oh.
fight! The death is all over the place.
Oh, no. One Eye Open is actually going to lose 2 out of this. D-Rich taking out Delta there with the Mini 14, trying to catch up to Patron, but he's going to go just wide enough, wrapping around into the backside of Milta. And Manhardy is also still alive, but it sent it to the beach. You see a smoke wall out trying to prevent Gravity from spotting him here. And I think Lipson might be a little bit locked and loaded here into Patron, trying to follow him out, but as he places down right in between, realizes that he spotted out Manhardy. Nope, he sees him. The 8X out there on the Mini 14 shots, and Hardy nowhere to go. Gets a nice one into his chest here, but
Get up,
oh,
get
Manhardy somehow still alive.
Survive! Survive! Get out of there. He's in so much trouble. He might even
I
just
think
drown
he's just done.
himself. Yeah, he's dropping all his gear. Cheeky little move. Goodbye,
Fare thee
sir.
well, Manhardy.
Into
He
the
sure
deep.
can't hold his breath.
Yeah, that should have been a competitive diver instead of a PUBG player there.
But you know what? As all this is going on, gas cans actually had the ability to kind of backfill behind Gravity as they pushed back into Milta to try to take out what was left of One Eye Open. So they'll get into the zone safely. Additionally, from this now, Dodge tried to wrap in or around towards Razak. Found themselves in a bit of a fight here now with the Elusive, who pulled themselves all the way back down to school. And so the rest of Dodge is going to send it here to help. It looks like Finna.
This is odd because
might be choosing to leave.
No shots were even fired in this. No one lost anything. That was... Huh. If anything, I thought Elusive may set a trap for Dodge, but nothing happened. That was odd.
But look at this. Lobes is right here.
Yeah, I definitely think Lobes will shoot. He will definitely play aggressive on this, and I was right. Beautiful shots by Lobes.
Lobes getting a knock on the Finna, and unfortunately the bike was just in the way. Finna couldn't get into safety, and his teammate couldn't lend a hand really to help to come out. So now Lamplock going up for the high ground, trying to get sight, but instead I think opting to just leave this back behind as he's going to drop down, wait for his teammates to join. Danny G and Adam just now arriving to the edge of town to try to keep the pressure on Lobes away from the hardships. The only other player still in the area of Razak is Maluk. The rest of the hardships, Chuba and J-Sank, are actually out in Watertown. So a bit of separation between the squad, but this 2-2 split should at least award them the fact to hold out Raz if they can from Dodge in this position. And I think from that, we've kind of gone back to a little bit of a stalemate with not too much action going on.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a really nice play to open up there from Hardships. They got a kill out of it, and they're still stable. And they are setting up around Razak, which, again, you also see SDK up there. I mean, obviously, they looted up there, but they're going to be scouting soon, similar to the spot where Marcelik is. Overall, though, this circle has not shown us whether it's going to go north or south. And that's kind of the ambiguous issue for some of the teams, or at least they may face if this pulls away from the side of the river they're on.
Yeah, and then you can see too Ascendance and ATC trying to battle for that position. So many teams are really trying to play the river right now. ATC did send Marcelik across the way, and Norcus is trying to kind of keep an eye on that, watch behind as Aguila and Sharpshot split between the 2 remaining compounds. But Zraven and Maji will be able to take that building out as the blue closes. We'll see where it takes a shift. It's actually going to hard shift north of the river. So look at this position shoot to kill is in. This is great.
Yeah, they're actually in a great position to either hold this or rotate to wherever they want to play, because there was nobody in the north. I mean, even Virtue coming in, they just entered the circle. And here we go again. Purdy the herder. I mean, he's not going to be able to herd that bike. It's way too fast.
I think this might be Marcelik trying to send it for Crossroads here, trying to take the compound first. This would be a very strong position to hold with the zone like this.
Yep, 100%. We're not wrong about that. And it looks like Purdy has realized that it is taken. But this isn't a terrible position either. It is rough early, especially in like this circle specifically, because it's very open to multiple angles, as you can see where it currently sits. But there's surprisingly a decent amount of cover there, especially with the vehicles. So we'll see if Purdy decides to stay here. I think he is. He's going to shoot other people off, maybe direct them towards Marcelik. And then you're going to see Dodge probably send it into or around Severny.
Dodge going just a bit wide from the compound at ATC's been trying to play off of. Sharpshot actually going just a little bit further, try to continue that pressure onto Danny G. As you said, hurt them just a little bit further away, but Norcus is actually going to get spotted. Marcelik, excuse me, is going to get spotted here. Norcus in the air going for the res. A shoot to kill will get a very nice hit here onto ATC, but inside the compounds they should have enough time to pop this res off as we see more teams continuing to transition through all of this. Additionally, Virtue and Houston Hearts just had a little bit of a
Look at
spat with each other. They're going to pull back off from that fight. That's going to allow Elusive to drive through them. And now Comets, the last team, kind of come in from the south, as the rest of our teams coming in from the east. Oath, Zenith, very close to the gas station at hand. Looks like Oath is going to choose to go a little bit further north, though. They are going to leave Snakers behind to keep an eye on Kickstart.
I was just gonna say, look at
and
that
Shinblade.
split from SDK. That is a very wide split, but that's also a very confident split. This tells me that SDK will, I mean, both of these positions, by the way, are not bad to hold as a duo. And as I say that, Alo gets knocked by Roth, and that's going to be a big problem. But I don't know if they know how far Civ has pushed out, so he might be able to return a knock and save Alo. We'll see. We will see.
I'm liking this. I think Civ is trying to get just as much information as he can here on the
Oh.
play at hand, but Luke 12 and Kurt are actually going to give up their compound as they do. Oath starts to backfill, so that seems to be the play at hand here. So we can see Poonage getting another shot in to shoot to kill. They should be able to get that res onto Alo as they push in the compound. The big thing here, Poonage and Roth, just on the other side of the road from Civ.
This is what I love about STK, though. The fact that they very much knew that they potentially had a really good position where they were, and they still came to make sure that they got Alo up. And that is playing for the team, and that is what I love about STK. However, I think Luke 12 is very quickly going to realize that the spot that they had is now occupied.
Ooh.
Yeah, playing for the individual as a team, this is why I think STK is so strong. This is why I think FaZe has been so strong, because they will pull back to save just one member. They will even potentially risk the team to make sure that they get all four alive. And I think that is what I love so much about teams like FaZe, like STK and the like.
You know, and too, we've really seen when we take a look at those teams that have dominated each and every phase. We talked about Oath, Sonics, and Shoot to Kill. It is because of their ability to keep so many players up in the late game that not only makes them strong, but aids in their ability to get kills. You have more players alive. The chance, obviously, for you to get so many kills is much higher. We see that every time at the end of the match. Each player with 4, 5, 6, 9 kills, sometimes even.
Yeah. No, I agree. There's inherently risk in going back and going for a player that's been knocked. You know, a lot of teams will opt to just leave that player down, but that's not how, you know, some of the most successful teams do it. They will go for that risk because they know what it means to have 4 up later in the game. And that's, again, what I love about SDK and teams like them. Just a good play.
I mean, Elusive, this has been a team that's been really interesting. They've been able to get some really interesting rotations through a lot of teams. In fact, quite a few times they've rotated through Dodge, but it looks like Dodge has finally started to close the gap just a little bit on this as they try to take over the high ground from shooting range to get sight on this. But the big distraction, of course, now is all the teams that were up to the north rotating around shooting range and Severny. It's going to take the attention of Lampalot, who's continuing to pressure shots now into ATC, but has not found a knock into this just yet. We can see Sharpshot is taking a little bit of damage as he's going to, hit a tree.
Calculated.
Nice recovery.
Calculated.
You know,
I don't know how that light pole didn't decapitate him as he came down, but
PUBG physics.
Yeah, this is a good this would actually be a great position if it was in the circle. Sadly, it's not, and so ATC are going to have to make some sort of push. They obviously see Dodge is going to be right in front of them. They may have an idea that Elusive is there, and their best option is probably going to be to wrap to the west, to be completely honest. But I don't think they have any information on the west. Oh, and Marcelik's going to go down.
Oh, Marcelik goes down as you see Guabi get the shot there. I think there might have been a little bit of some accidental team damage as another car tried to drive whack away, but Liberate rotating back around from this, going to continue to get shots, and this is why these bunkers can be a little bit risky, because now you've got the entire team herded up inside, and if Liberate pushes this really hard, they could potentially, through even one throwable or one AR clip, take out everybody.
Yeah, and this is actually the wrap that I was talking about ATC potentially doing. That's what we see Liberate doing now, and ATC is stuck. That's going to be another knock. Hello Senpai is going to get it on Lagila, and ATC is in a lot of trouble here, but at the same time, Senpai's got to leave, and he's got a buggy to do it in, which is less than ideal.
Less than ideal as well. We are in phase 3, so we can take just a little bit of blue zone damage as we see Guabi try to set back up onto ATC, who's still working on the recovery from all of the action that's been going on at hand here between Liberate and Dodge taking shots into them at Guabi, keeping the pressure on now. As ATC has kind of essentially been pushed back into shooting range, Elusive is on the other side of this and ready to receive. So ATC's got 2 different teams, kind of watchful eye in this direction, shooting at them, and that's going to be really difficult to come back out of this now as we see the circle
And
comes to a
Oath,
close.
Oath is starting to posture as well because they know the circle's going to shift and they're already in a decent position to receive all the teams coming out of shooting range. So Oath could potentially, if they don't have too much opposition from the south on them, get a lot of points here.
Now, Liberate is getting very close to Comets, and if this fight were to happen, that could pull them out of engagement from ATC, alleviating just a little bit of the pressure between some of these teams here stuck down in the low ground from shooting range. You can see a sharp shot, though, is going to land a nice M24 shot there onto Jay all day. That's going to be another one in the back there for ATC to try to help out. In fact, Marcelic is using this as an opportunity to try to push in just a little bit closer, hoping to maybe spot somebody during this res, but right down lane for him was a snake. He spots him, but just too soon as Marcelic is going to get taken back out here. And now a nade to see if they can take out Sneak Attack, but it looks like it bounced just too far.
Just too far. And again, this is so rough for ATC. I mean, oh!
Oh, we hit that. Let's go, Sharp Shot.
That is not Sharp Shot SD, standard definition version. That is HD. That is the 4K version. It was always a meme because he had another account he used to use and Fizzle.
Oh, Fizzle. Somehow still alive through all of these throwables, but he only had 1 HP, so he's going to get spot out there by Norcos, who gets the knock and quickly flush. Now 2 kills for ATC, who try to spot out what's left of Elusive, but they're on the opposite side, and so as ATC continues this rotation in, they do realize now that they're under the watchful eye of Dodge. A nice shot from Sharp Shot's going to push back the pressure at him, though. Meanwhile, a little bit distracted by what's going on with Oath, so ATC's got a little bit more time to finish out this fight with Elusive, who's trying their best to recover. Norcos, though, has been knocked. We see Aguila with smokes out, trying to lend a little bit of help here. ATC, another one of those teams that we have seen kind of go back for the reses and try to keep their teams up strong.
I do like how JLD went into the shooting range, though, because both of them were stacked in the same position, and they're not really going to be able to do anything unless they get some damage out here. Throwables would be nice. A cook grenade would have been nicer. A molly would have been even better, but he actually opts to use none of those.
I think if that nade had just been cooked a little bit and didn't have that bounce, it could have been both of those members of ATC taken out. But as it said, Sharp Shot has wrapped himself wide around this, trying to spot out JLD. I think he has heard him now. He's going to come back over the ledge, getting Sharp Shot down a little bit low, switching to the molly underhand, hoping to land onto Sharp Shot. I think it's fallen just too short. As JLD now realizing he needs to deal with the problem at hand. That Sharp Shot just down below him as the blue continuing to close back in. But, you know, the big thing here is that Dodge has actually pulled back away from this. They're no longer taking shots down in this area. That's given these two teams a little bit more time to fight.
Yeah, it's true. And Gravity has just absolutely devastated the gas cans as well as taking out a member of Zenith. So they're continuing to fight on the outside. Meanwhile, in this fight, I mean, there's smokes everywhere now. And Destinator with a nice position to move up there. But Sharp Shot is going to get the flank on JLD. I don't think he's expecting this at all. He's not.
Oh, Sharp Shot gets Jay all day down, and all that's left is Destinator. As we see right now, still eyes looking for Aguila.
They know exactly where he is, too.
Oh, you know what? And here we go. Dodge is actually pulling back down to engage into this as well.
Oh, Sharp Shot accidentally got a little flash off. No big deal. This is going to be really rough for Destinator. They have to, as long as they peek this together.
Here we go. The push is coming in. Aguila trying to take shots, but Adam third-parting this, taking out Aguila. And as Destinator is found out by Sharp Shot, only one member of ATC left still standing. And Dodge now having to pull back, do a little bit of help here. But look at this. Oath is now using this as an opportunity to collapse onto this fight. They have been taking a little bit of damage from Shoot to Kill, who've been taking shots in their direction as well. And so as the circle has shifted further west from this, we've got 7 teams that need to work their way into the zone. Additionally, from this, Bahawaka from Liberate, I think, sent it down into shooting range, trying to kick out Sharp Shot, and he's going to find him.
Huh.
All right.
I mean, well done. He's going to eliminate a team, and he's going to get a point. Yeah, nicely done. Comets actually potentially have the most to gain from the circle because they have a lot of room for control.
And playing for control, I think Shoot to Kill, looking for a compound, something else to have here, but they're going to run themselves right into Illusion. And Purdy Curdy taking down Light Show. As a knock-in flush now, spotting out Top Dog, get a little bit of jump, get some damage of that, but can't find the knock as Top Dog pulls back towards the compound, trying to stay alive. We see Alo was knocked. Now Gravity crashing this exact same compound too, and that might be just the break that Shoot to Kill needs as Curdy takes down another player here. Only 2 left still staying for Illusion, but now you've got to worry about the problem in hand, and that is what is left of Gravity here as Kurt trying to take down another member
Oh,
of Illusion.
behind
But look, he's
Kurt.
been spotted out. Free me, please.
I was rooting for Kurt. Kurt is an animal. Those are really nice knocks, and now Luke's getting shot. He's got to back up. That rock is his only cover, but that building in front of him, that 2-story, has vision on that rock where he's prone. So Civ's got to make a move here, put some pressure on them to get the.
Ooh, that's a nice nade.
That's a good start.
Oh, beautifully thrown nade there by Unciv is going to take down Top Dog, and we see more utility coming back out from both squads. Now, the problem at hand as well is that Virtue does also have sight onto the site. We've seen them repeatedly get some shots out and damage on multiple players here. Lip spin for Gravity, and now San Diego Rarity rotating in from the south. So there's so many teams with eyes in this area, and this compound is still not in the zone as Civ starting to take quite a bit of damage. This is phase 5, and not when you want to be stuck in the blue, especially with 4 HP, but he's going to go ahead and take a chance at those Molotovs, try to spot out what's left of Illusion. It will actually land here, but with his health so low, it didn't take much to take him down here.
That was
Lipson and Free Me Please is actually Lipson's gonna steal that from Free Me Please.
Free Me Please is gonna go down as well. That was a nice effort by Civ. He was just so low. I mean, even getting in the vehicle to seat swap, he realized the circle was coming. That was good. He used the mollies, but yeah, he was just so low that anything was gonna take him down. So STK will fall.
Lipson for Gravity was able to take out what was left down here onto the coast, and San Diego Rarity is going to pull back away from that compound, but the circle pulls away in their favor now as Ascendance and Virtue also inside the zone, and we're left with 16, 18 players alive. Comets still 4 up, rotating wide around the circle. Try to come in from the north, though, as we can see it's who's playing for the hill and the dominant position here in the south.
Yeah, we actually saw hard shift. Well, barely caught it. Hard shifts went up to the southwest. That's where they rotated. I'm pretty sure Ascendus is the one that took them out. And so Comets, who had quite a lot of room to work with, still do. The issue is the circle now is not letting them the best options, at least from the north. So as we can see, they are starting to reposition a little bit, clearing out their edge. But that's like a flat field in front of that compound that they're going to have to navigate. So I think their best option might actually just to wrap all the way to the west and potentially take a fight with Ascendants.
You know, we have 4 4-man squads still standing, and then Lipson, the last remaining player for Gravity. So a solo and 4 full 4 stacks, and that's going to be very interesting going into this circle.
I think the big thing as well for Comets is if that compound gets taken out, they're really going to have a good wrap here. The problem is, look at Ascendants. They've realized this. They've realized potentially could be a team wrapping on their west, and now they know that Comets is here. This is going to be really rough. It's going to be really rough for Comets if they continue to make this push. Shots, but he's not going to get the knock.
He's not going to find the knock, but he does get quite a bit of damage here. And Ascendants now having all the information of where Comets are coming into the zone. And as you can see in this position, while it is in the circle, they do have some trees for coverage. They're kind of coming in wide in the open, full view of Ascendants. So now as Raven and Ripper a little more focused on what's going on at hand, we see Ripper rotating in to try to help out. It's going to pull the pressure away from San Diego Rarity, who could potentially choose to come in from the backside. Third party this, shots at either both Ascendants or Comets. I think Virtue is a little bit locked into the compound. And there we go. Yaxley is just going to full send it here towards Ascendants.
I mean, pretty much the only shot they got, right? It's just full aggression, and it's working. They got a knock. It's going to be a nice shot with the Mark 14 from Monty. As the barrel comes out. Oh, little return spray. And Zraven doesn't get the knock.
Oh, but Yaxley does, taking down Zraven, and we see a nicely thrown nades out for multiple players here for the Comets, trying to do something for Ascendants, but none of it was primed, as Zraven's Molotov is going to actually take himself out. As we see 2 players for Comets go down. Vegas and Monty last still up, but smokes are coming out. Try to give him a little bit of coverage here as Vegas wrapping back around. Ascendants is going to spot out the last player, takes out Beck and Maji. And Comets should have enough time, or so we thought, to try and recover from this, but San Diego Rarity finally pushing in for the fight to try to third party settle, taking down Vegas. Now 1 player still standing for Comets to try to pop out that res, but Deadeye getting a flush at least onto Vegas.
And this is smart. They still have Innate in the circles, so that he has some form of semblance of control there, I guess. He can at least spot someone incoming from the north or the east. And on top of that, you actually have them already set up for the east. So San Diego Rarity with a nice little split here, pushing outside of the circle to make sure that they hold the really the biggest threat to their team out and put themselves in a position to win this game.
And two, Virtue does have the ability to push out of that compound if they want to try and engage. But it looks like they're, at least for right now, going to continue the comforts of their home, as San Diego Rarity was not able to stop these reses coming off, and Comets still back up 3 strong, are pushing for the zone, as well as San Diego Rarity is later coming up to the backside of Subtle there, who's currently engaged in healing himself. So looks like he actually did hear the comments, so he's going to go ahead and stop that, stand back up, and is jumping, trying to spot out Monty and Leda, what he can
Yeah.
see.
He's got to be careful not to get cracked, though, because we have seen that before. Someone jump peeps and they just get instantly knocked by 2 players focusing. So just got to be careful, but still really good scouting tactic. You see it all the time. Gets you in trouble sometimes, but
Another thing too, we've got to kind of point out is that Lipson is still in or around the area, and that at the very least has taken away the attention of one member of Sangha Rarity, a Cruz. He's been trying to find somebody, and of course, as I say that, he will find Lipson, takes him out. Now we're down to 3 teams: San Diego Rarity, Virtue, and Comets.
3v3v, or sorry, 4v4v3. That's what I meant.
We don't really see that very often.
No, we don't, and I like this push from Deadeye a lot. A lot. I like it a lot. Come on, get that knocked. Oh! He does find it. Nice.
Down to 1 HP. Yaxley and Monty actually laying into him here, and that's going to force Deadeye to break back away from the fight to try to recover from this, but Subtle down to 12 HP as he gets hit from Yaxley as well. San Diego Rarity, those still 4 strong, are taking in quite a bit of damage from this. We see Comets are really making this difficult, but now Virtue has decided to leave the compounds, and they're going to rotate back into the backside of San Diego Rarity, and that could be very problematic for them, as Yaxley getting a knock onto Deadeye. And as San Diego Rarity tries to pull back, they're going to find themselves a little bit of surprise as Innate calls it out, takes a couple of shots in Virtue's direction, and is trying to find another angle onto this.
I was really hoping Virtue wouldn't stay in that compound the entire game. They didn't. Obviously, they pushed out earlier than when it got sent out, so this is good. This is good aggression from Virtue. Again, these guys just seem to really take their time.
Ooh.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing
taking their time
either.
really well, as well as Super is going to take down Innate here. Oh. Only 2 players still up for San Diego Rarity. Subtle down to 3 HP. Tries to return the fire there onto Comets, but Yaxley taking him out here. And it looks like a last-ditch attempt at a res is coming out from San Diego Rarity, as Comets now need to break their tension away and focus at Virtue, who's trying to wrap back around Batty Lull and Tanaka, but throwables coming out from the other 2 players of Virtue. This is going to really keep the pressure. So we've got this kind of good split focus from Virtue coming in as they've left their compounds focused on both Comets and San Diego Rarity. I think they've just about figured out where everybody is. And when you look at the circle, Virtue's really in the best position for when we move to phase 9. As Comets have kind of found themselves a little bit split apart here.
Yeah, but Comets has been fighting for every inch they've taken, and they really have earned that spot in the top 3. San Diego Rarity, I really did like their split. I had mentioned it. However, they had an opportunity to get aggressive and really kind of clean up Comets and get ready for the Virtue fight, and they kind of didn't. They just kept taking pot shots, kept the split going. They could have had a 3-1 there and probably taken Comets out, but Comets also very resilient. So overall, San Diego Rarity kind of got the short end of the stick there as they got wiped down to 2 members. And Comets still living strong, man. They are fighting. Their wrap to the north is smart. They're going to get a little bit of high ground here. It's just Batty Lull. If Batty Lull can't hold this line, Comets may come in and sweep from behind.
And we see right now Comets continuing that rotation as they try to regain some high ground coming down from the open terrain that they've been playing out of for the last 2 phases, as they were taking on quite a bit of fight from San Diego Rarity. But you can also see from this too, Virtue took on a bit of damage. Evasion X's vest is broken, helmet's hurt here just a bit. And so now San Diego Rarity opting to do very similar rotation on the backside of Comets, trying to spot him out, get as much information as they can moving forward. Nate inching his way towards the zone, but you can just see how open this is. There's not really any trees or rocks to hide behind, so if either team were to take a peek onto this right now, that could be it for Innate. Oh, and there we go. Shots back out. Leda's actually going to fall, but here comes Yaxley.
And he's ready.
He falls down as well. There's only one person still up here for Comets. This time it's Monty, but now we're seeing the flushes come out. Additionally, through this, Virtue is using this as the opportunity to take a push down. Oh, and Innate stealing some of this now. Last player still up, but as we say that, he has found Tanaka with the last shot, and Virtue